We're with David Silverman. He's the president of the American Atheists. Why are the American Atheists here at CPAC?
Well, American Atheists are at CPAC to raise awareness of the fact that there are millions and millions of atheists who are conservative.
That's interesting. What percentage of the population do they represent?
Approximately 20% of atheists, 60 million non-religious people. We've got 20% of them are conservatives, but half of them, again, 30% more, would be conservative, but they don't call themselves conservative. In other words, they're supporters of a small government, they're supporters of a strong military, but they vote Democrat or Libertarian because of the conservative social agenda. And we're here this weekend to raise awareness of the fact that if conservatism dropped the social agenda, tens of millions of atheists would seriously consider voting conservative.
But how do you separate the two? I mean, let's take a social issue, for example. Let's take abortion. We spend $1.5 million every day on taxpayer money on abortion. How is that a social issue? To me, that's a fiscal issue.
Well, there are other social issues that are strictly social issues. I mean, if we look at...
So abortion's okay, you're not calling that a social issue?
Abortion can be called a merger issue because there are some secular arguments for abortion. But when you're talking about prayer in school, when you're talking about gay rights, when you're talking about death with dignity, you're talking about strictly social issues that have nothing to do with conservatism, that conservatism should drop. Not to get rid of Christians. We're not trying to get rid of Christians. What we are trying to do is bring in non-Christians into the conservative arena.
But I mean, you have a party that's out there, the Democrats, that really don't do a lot to say God should be part of the politics. You have the Republican platform itself is very Judeo-Christian in its basis.
And that's the problem.
Why would you want to change it? Well, how is that a problem? I mean, isn't that to be determined by the grassroots?
And that's why I'm here. I'm here to raise awareness. We're trying to use it to raise awareness.
Why not just go with the party that already...
Because we want a choice. I'm a conservative person.
But why not work within the party that already doesn't really have much to do in terms of acknowledging God, and work in that party to get the fiscal responsibility you're talking about and the other things you're talking about? Why come to the party that has their basis in conservative, constitutional, Judeo-Christian faith and say we want to change you? Why not?
Because we're not agreeing on the fact that conservatism is based in Christianity. It's not. It's based in small government and strong military, and it had nothing to do with Christianity until the 1970s.
Well, that's not true at all. I mean, if you go back to the Judeo-Christian foundation of the country, where
Judeo-Christian?
There is a Judeo-Christian foundation of the country. If you read David Barton's work, for example, are you familiar with his work?
Yes, I'm familiar with David Barton. I'm also familiar with Thomas Jefferson.
Though?
Yes, of course.
But
he's a revisionist historian. He's not a real...
No, that's not true. If you read the quotes of the founders, they'll say that
we can all quote mine and find quotes that support us, okay? The important question is it good for America today to have a Republican Party that is Christian only? And we think it's wrong. I could go to Democrats.
What do you say to the person who says, you're just here to be divisive? You're not really here because if they say, I don't really buy that you're here because you want to bring awareness. I think that you're here to divide up conservatives into basically the Judeo-Christian path and the ones that want to be godless or that want to ignore the social issues.
I am here to exactly do that. I'm here to exactly do that, to make people aware of the fact that conservatism is divisible.
What is the value of atheism? What is the value?
Freedom of thought, freedom of conscience,
and so
freedom to make up your own mind.
So how is being divisive and coming into a group of people that are decidedly, from a grassroots perspective, decidedly faithful, how is coming into that and saying, I think we should question your very foundation? How is that freedom loving?
It's not the foundation. We don't agree that Christianity is the foundation of conservatism.
You've read the historic documents.
What historic documents?
Start anywhere. I mean, you can start with the original. The original forming of the country. I mean, you can go back to the Mayflower Compact and you can see
the Mayflower Compact predates this country. This country didn't exist for the Mayflower Compact.
Right. Okay. So one nation under God. I mean,
one nation under God was put into population in 1954. Not the founding of this country. It's revisionist history.
From Abraham Lincoln, from George Washington, from Thomas Jefferson, any of them.
They say
it's inseparable.
They do not.
They absolutely do.
If you want a quote,
you can't tell me that it doesn't exist.
If you want a quote that really means something, look at the Constitution. The Constitution is completely devoid of the word Christ and Jesus and anything like that. The Constitution is a secular document, and people complained about it.
Precisely because they didn't want the imposition by government on individuals. But that's not the same thing. You're talking about a top-down thing. We're not talking about that. I'm talking about a grassroots-up thing. Faith in our constitutional makeup has always been a ground-up thing, and it still is. And that's why we have a party platform that very carefully states out that we do believe in God. So why would you want to come in and undermine that?
Because you can be conservative and not believe in God.
No one's saying that you can't be conservative and not believe in God.
You can not vote for a conservative party, or at least I should say, it's hard to vote conservative when the people that you're voting for do not support the separation of religion. You have to let me finish my sentence, okay? You can't vote. It's very hard for an atheist to vote for somebody who specifically doesn't support the separation of religion and government, because we believe the separation of religion and government is a synonym for religious freedom.
Where is that in the historic documents?
That's in the Supreme Court ruling that is based off of the U.S. Constitution. The laws of the government are in order: the Constitution, the amendments to the Constitution, the treaties, and then the decisions of the Supreme Court. They are law of the land. They're more law of the land than federal laws. They're more law of the land than anything Congress can do. It's a real law, and it's really the law of the land. Separation of church and state is not in the Constitution, but it's implied within the Constitution, such says the Supreme Court, which makes it law of the land. And our point here is that conservatism should concentrate on everybody, not about pushing their religious beliefs, but actually concentrate on small government, strong military, gun rights. I'm a big proponent of gun rights, but I want to vote for a Republican, but I can't. I have to vote for Democrats because I can only vote for somebody who will actually stand up for my freedom to be an atheist. And we're not getting any of that from the Republican Party, and that's why we're here to change it.
Speak to fascism for a moment. We have a tyrannical government right now. We have an administration right now that is coming down and bashing everyone's freedoms. And I would submit to you, as a constitutional conservative who is obviously very Christian-based, I would submit to you that I'm a lot more likely to defend your right to believe what you believe than is a government who is going to spy on you, who is going to target you for your group, for your identity, for your faith. And if you look throughout history, it is always these tyrannical, big government sorts of people that pick on people like you first. I would submit to you that a Christian-based party in power, you are going to have a lot more freedom to exist and be who you are based on the Christian principle of tolerance, which, by the way, is a Christian principle, than you are with a group that has basically said to you, we don't care who you are. We are absolutely willing to target you. We are absolutely willing to bully you, to call you names, whatever, if we don't agree with you.
I don't disagree with a lot of what you just said. Okay, I have a real problem with spying. I have a real problem with our government spying on us. I have a real problem with a lot of things that the Obama administration is doing. But one of the things they're not doing is enforcing somebody else's religious beliefs on me and my kids and my neighbors. And I can't abide by that.
How is religion imposed? Tell me the technical aspect of that. What has happened to you in your life that a government official has imposed a religion on you?
In so many states in this union right now, they're trying to push laws that make Christianity, creationism part of the science class.
No, they want to make it part of the conversation.
No, they're trying to make it part of the science class,
and
it's not. Part of the conversation.
Evolution is a theory. Creation is a theory.
No, it's not.
They're both theories.
No, they're not. They're not equal.
They're both theories.
They're not equal.
Well, I agree.
One is a scientific theory.
Creation is much more scientific.
See, we're going to strongly disagree on that.
And we can disagree, but don't you think that both should be in the marketplace?
No, science should be about science, not about religion, not about an invisible man this time. Scientists define science.
And Christian scientists or atheist
Christian scientists are not scientists.
Really? So if you're a Christian and you're a scientist...
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you're talking about Christian scientists, or you're talking about scientists who are Christians?
No, scientists who are Christians, you're saying are not scientists.
No, that's not what I meant to say.
Okay.
I was talking about Christian scientists.
Yeah, no, I'm retracting.
Okay.
So who gets to say? Who gets to decide?
The wealth of scientists out there.
So when it comes to education and when it comes to science classes, right?
Yes.
First of all, you do believe in big government dictating education.
I believe in government standards for education, yes.
So that's not really a small government concept. That really fits more on the Democrat side.
I understand, yes.
So that's not really a freedom issue for you or a liberty issue for you. That's more of a
It's a necessary issue, and the reason that I think it's necessary is because it would be abused if it weren't regulated. I believe that the amount of scientific education, science disproves Christianity. And it disproves, evolution disproves the Garden of Eden, it disproves original sin, and because of that, there's a strong push from the Christian right to eliminate that from the science curriculum and replace it with religious dogma. If we don't regulate
That's really interesting because, I've never once met somebody who is pushing that agenda that you're speaking of. I've definitely talked to people who say, I think we should be able to introduce all theories into, if my tax dollars are paying for it, and I happen to be in identity with most people in the United States, we are a center-right country, then I think all theories should be able to
the Hindus should also be able to talk about their creation.
And they do.
And the Muslims, and the
Scientologists. You know who would be first to defend that? It is the Christians who would be the first to defend that.
We believe that science should be taught by scientists, and it should be strict.
But only atheist scientists.
It's not about atheist science.
It's
about scientifically valid science. It's about
science to determine what's valid.
Peer review. That's what makes it science. It's okay. I have a test. I have a theory. Let's test it. Let's prove it. And then other people say, okay, I see your theory. I'm going to test it. I'm going to prove it. Peer review. An invisible magic. Wait a minute. An invisible man in the sky that created the universe is not testable. It's not scientific at all. It's just mythology. It's just Christianity. It's not real, Dr. Gina. It's not true.
See, but I'm not standing here saying that your faith is not real, and I don't think you have any right to stand here and tell me that my faith is not real.
I have every right to tell you that your faith is not real, but the government does not, and that's our point.
But you're saying that the government should infer, it should impose on classrooms, saying that the Christian perspective of creation is not real.
No.
So that's
what I'm saying
tolerance.
is that science is science, and if your religion says 1 + 1 = 4, it's not teaching the controversy if we teach it in math class. Science is a specific process. It's a specific thing. You just can't say, okay, well, I have a theory, and so my theory is about, wait a minute.
I have multiple degrees in research. I don't need you to explain it to me.
Okay, but I'm talking
about...
my
audience is smart enough to figure this out too.
So your audience would know that my invisible magic man in the sky is not science. Science is provable, disprovable, and replicable. You know that as a researcher. And there's nothing in religion that fits that description.
Great inconsistency in what you're saying. You're saying we want freedom. We don't want government-imposed anything, but we do want government-imposed education, and we do want government-imposed science classes, and we do want government to, we do want the party. You're saying we want a party that
I'm saying there's a gray area.
You're saying, okay, well, it's all gray area. So why, again, I come back to my original question, your real motive for being here this week.
Yes.
To me, I've still not heard it from you. I've still not heard anything consistent from you that says that, I don't understand why you just don't vote Democrat. You're pro-big government.
We do vote Democrat. That's my point. I vote Democrat against my will. Because I'm a conservative. I want to vote for somebody's small government.
I don't hear conservative
and when I voted for Obama, I voted for everything that he stood for. And that's because I'm a single issue voter, and I should be, because the issue is my own personal freedom. I don't think I should be forced to vote for a Democrat just because the Republicans have a section in them that is specifically anti-atheist, specifically anti-us. I can't vote that way. If the conservatives would just jettison that bunk and concentrate on real conservatism, millions and millions of atheist conservatives would vote the conservative ticket. That's why I'm here.
All right. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.